So hello, my name is Lon Safko. I'm the author of the Social Media Bible, published by John Wiley & Sons, the largest book ever written on the subject of social media. And holy cow, man, we're here today with Neal Creighton, the CEO of RatePoint, and we're going to be talking about social media, but more specifically, we're going to be talking about email marketing. Man, I just absolutely love email marketing, and I love RatePoint. I've always said email is the original social media. So let's get into it, and we're going to have Neal explain to us why email is the original social media. Could you tell us a little bit about your background and then a little bit about RatePoint, please?
Sure, Lon. I've been in internet businesses for a while now. The first company I started was a company called GeoTrust. I was the CEO there and founder. It was a pretty popular company. It was securing like 30% of the transactions on the internet, but it was acquired in 2006 by VeriSign, which is a well-known brand. But the GeoTrust brand is pretty well known as well. And I got together with the founders, and we really decided we wanted to do something bigger. And securing 30% of the internet traffic is a good thing, but we thought there was a much bigger idea out there, and that was really why we started RatePoint and why we got together.
Okay, that's pretty cool. Now, RatePoint is an email marketing company. Now, a lot of small businesses don't really understand the value and the importance of what an email marketing company is. Can you kind of explain some of the services and why it's important if you own a business to be aware of and a member of RatePoint?
Yeah, so RatePoint, you can tell by its name, it's got a variety of services, and email marketing is one of the services. We've combined email marketing with a complete review platform, so businesses can get reviews from their customers and republish those out in different places, and a lot of that's social. So that's a big part of our service, as well as surveys and email marketing. But certainly, email marketing is an important area. People have been doing it for a very long time, and as you described, it was one of the first places you were having a dialogue with your customers. You were telling them what you were doing. It was much more personal. So it was the first kind of phase of things, but we've changed a lot recently with a lot of other places like Facebook and Twitter where you can have an ongoing dialogue. But email marketing is a base part of our service. A lot of businesses use it. The ROI on it is very, very clean. For like every dollar you spend, you get like $43 back. So it's a really effective way to reach your customers, and it's a big part of our service.
So you also mentioned reviews. You have some kind of a product in there that you can interact with your customers and get reviews? Yes.
We're in the middle of a revolution on the internet, and a lot of it has to do with social media. But the number one thing people look at today before they transact with a business, it could be calling a landscaper or a plumber, or do I buy from this business, is reviews. And they generally start at Google, and they look up the business name, and reviews can pop up. And 70% of people believe reviews, or they trust reviews from people they don't know. But they see them on the internet. They're looking for something. They pop up. And if it's good, they tend to believe it. If it's bad, they tend to believe it. So we believe that businesses should participate with their customers, solicit actively reviews from them, try and resolve negative issues before they get published. And, they have to be transparent. But social media is a good place to do that. But then we end up syndicating the content back out to Google, Yahoo, and Bing, and a bunch of other places. So it really is the name of the company's RatePoint, and it's all about reputation building. Email marketing is part of that, but the reviews are really the revolution that we're part of, which I think is going to fundamentally change the way businesses and consumers interact as we go forward.
Yeah, it's great that you actually use that word in the second edition, the new edition of the Social Media Bible. I use it throughout my presentations as well, a fundamental shift in power. And the way I define that is the way people, just as you said, are looking for peer reviews. The funny question is, if I got a choice of going to a company's website and reading the rhetoric that they put on their website, or I get a chance to go into Facebook and ask 10 people that I trust about your company, which information am I more likely to believe? And there's this fundamental shift in power where corporations are actually losing control over their corporate message, and it's actually moving more towards the peer-to-peer. So if I'm hearing you correctly, you're providing those tools, you're aware of it, and you're encouraging it and providing the tools for just that type of peer review.
Yeah, absolutely. It's the most important thing that's happening on the internet, and it's happening in social networks. And if you can get within people's social circles, you can really be powerful if you're doing the right thing. And I tell people, trying to make them understand a small business, it's like you're walking down the street and you decided to go to a restaurant, and before you go in, there's 4 people standing outside that tell you they just got sick from eating the food there. You probably wouldn't go in. So if you start at Google and you look up a business and you see bad reviews, you're going to tend to believe it versus positive ones. And same within your social circle. If you ask for advice, there's a lot of statistics talking about how people rely on that today. And when they see things, they actually tend to, within their social circle, believe it. So as a business, if you can take advantage of that in a positive way and participate and understand that you don't have all the power, but you can participate with your customers to build a quality business, you can really build a really strong competitive advantage for yourself.
Okay, so basically what I'm hearing is not only do you get the entire message and understand the power of email, but you're actually coupling it with the power of social media, and you get that, and you're providing all of those tools to your customers.
Yeah, and you hit on it. I mean, we believe that people using email marketing, it's kind of really the first social area. We're all good candidates for reviews because anyone who wanted to communicate with their customers and tell them what they were doing certainly wanted to sell more and wanted to have a good quality business. So reviews are a big part of that. So they were good candidates, and we find people coming in to use email marketing and then converting to our review service every day because they understand how powerful it is.
That's absolutely amazing, and I agree 100%. That is the trend that everybody is moving towards. I mean, if you look at Jive and Google Buzz and all of the directions, that's the technological trend, is to tie the best to the best. And my opinion has always been the best of the best is coupling email with social media tools. Now, as an email company yourself, I mean, let's just talk about that just for a second. You provide, pretty much all of the features and benefits that an email marketing company provides?
Yes, I mean, we have a complete service that, you could compare it to, there's other companies out there like Constant Contact and other folks. We have a very similar service. I think one of the things that we've done very differently is that we're very interested in the intro-level people in the market. Those are people that are coming in and they want to do email marketing for the first time. And so we have this free for life product that gives you like 550 free contacts that you can use. And we hope that you'll upgrade and you'll see the benefit of our review service as you go through it and end up a paying customer. But we're really focusing on the entry-level market. But we do have many large senders, many large companies. It's a complete offering from end to end and fully integrated into social media. So it's pretty cool.
Well, it is cool, too, because I am familiar with a lot of the other companies, the email companies, intimately familiar with them. And the one thing that attracts me to RatePoint is you get social media. Now, you'd mentioned Constant Contact. They're really not, they don't really have a social media tools, but you got tools, correct?
Yeah, I mean, I think we were very early on in the space. And, we had the advantage of coming later. Constant Contact's been around for a while. And with that comes advantages, but also disadvantages. And when we came around, we could see the social media movement and the storm brewing, I best say it. And so we built everything in. And so we've been widely recognized. I mean, just recently we got the MyTex Award in New England for the best social media company in New England. And our customers love it. And it's fully integrated, not just in email marketing, but in the survey platform, but powerfully in the review platform. So you might have a review that you get within the Facebook environment from our Facebook application that ends up being syndicated out to Google. So you're using your core group of people to help amplify your business, and that's also ending up in a lot of different places. But it's integrated in social media from end to end. Okay,
so if I use RatePoint services and products, basically not only am I getting a really cool product, but you're also enhancing my SEO implications, my search engine optimization.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, search engines love fresh content. Review content's like gold, and Google's been doing a lot of work within Google Maps too. But generally, our reviews show up extremely high next to the business, and it's very good for SEO. But more importantly, it's like the number one tool. I think every small business understands word of mouth, and in the physical world, if you do a good job for a particular customer, and they tell two people, and you get money, it's great. But if you do it in the web, like word of mouth for the web is what I kind of like to say, and they tell people there, and they might tell 1,000 people or more, and they see it. So extremely powerful. SEO is a huge benefit, and people see it. And when they do see it, 70% of the people or more every day, it's growing. I believe what they see because they're credible, and people are looking for these reviews.
Absolutely. And I love, again, what you said in the new book. I use a phrase that I think is really important for all of us to understand. What we're talking about is word of mouth at the speed of light.
Yes.
Awesome. Now, one of the things that working with entrepreneurial companies, working with mid-sized companies, government agencies, nonprofits, even the Fortune 1000s, I get the same thing from everybody. You know what? I really want to do email. Let's address this one question. You can see I totally got sidetracked. Email is passé. Everybody says only my dad uses email. You want to address that because let's do that one first. Do you think it's passe?
Primarily, I mean, if you ask anybody when they come into work, one of the first things they do is check their email. I mean, it's still the prime way we communicate with each other. We're certainly using social media in a major way, but it's the starting point for basically everything on business nowadays, especially for a small business. So they check their email first thing in the morning. They look at it during the day. I think now what we've seen is that it's one of the tools in the toolbox and a very important one, but you've got to use social media as well, and you have to be cognizant of what's happening there and integrate what you're doing with an email into that environment, and you've got a pretty good solution. But still today, and I'll bet you we could talk 24 months from now, first thing you do when you go in the office is check your email. I don't think that's going to change.
I completely agree. And one of the things that I point out to the people that say that is, the millenniums and the Generation X's and Y's are saying that, but they don't know crap about business. So for a social tool, they might not use it, but for business, I think email is here forever.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely true. And I think anyone, no matter what generation they're from, if they actually start a business, they're using email. I mean, they've got to think about where their customers are too, and you can't put yourself in the target segment. I always say it's if you build a business around yourself, then you're probably missing a pretty good target market, and most of your target market's going to be using email. So no matter what generation you're from, you've got to use email if you run a business.
Absolutely. And that's one of the things, Grant, I love that point. When we talk about all the different tools that are out there, this isn't about what you prefer. It's about where your customers are and what they prefer.
Yeah, and that's a common mistake I see with across the board. And I make it myself too. We all do it. It's like, nobody will use that because you're thinking about what you do in particular, but you have to really think about your target market and what they're doing. And again, when you put it in that light, saying email is kind of dead sounds really ridiculous. When you think about the target market itself versus kind of what you do personally, it's definitely far from dead. It's going to have a long life, and particularly it's going to be very important to business.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, one of the questions that I originally started before I got sidetracked on the passe question is a lot of companies are kind of intimidated by email. Again, they hear the bad rap, spam, nobody opens it, which isn't true. I mean, the national open rate can be as high as 17%. I sent out an email yesterday, and I'm not kidding you, I had a 25.5%, almost a 26% open rate. So you know what? That's effective as far as I'm concerned. But a lot of these companies, they don't know where to start. Is putting together an email / social media, now that we added this other level of complexity, is it really hard, or is it kind of common sense? Can I jump into RatePoint and start using it effectively?
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. If we look at our customer base and where they were 18 months ago, probably 20% of them that came in had a Twitter and Facebook account. Today, probably 70% of them have a Twitter and Facebook account, but they don't know quite what to do with it. I think that's a common issue. And so really, my advice would be to look for services that are integrated that help you monetize on top of that. So it's more than just having an account. So it's really easy. Like if you come into RatePoint, the first thing we do is connect your social media accounts with your email marketing setup and your review setup. That's part of the setup. And if you don't have a social media account, we try and set you up very quickly with one and get you going. So when you come out on the 5-minute process that we put you through on the sign up, you're ready to go, and you're ready to start requesting reviews or displaying reviews in your social media accounts and build your contact list up as well. So, it takes a little time to build an email campaign. It's very self-driven, not just from RatePoint, but any provider. They have very straightforward templates that you can use. For a small business, it's very, very easy. You put in your message you're trying to accomplish, and you send. And when you hit send, it's going to end up not only going to your contact list, and hopefully you have one or you start to build one, but it's going to go to your social media accounts, so people who might be interested in what you're doing can see it, and it'll be picked up in real-time search. It'll be, if available, it'll be indexed by Google. I mean, it can be go out to a lot of different places. So, and then in the end, as a small business, you can come back in and you can look to see who clicked on it, what traffic it drove to your site, what the ROI was. And going back to that stat, I mean, I think it's pretty true that for every dollar spent in email marketing, by and large, you're going to get a fair return. $43 is what I've seen, and I think that's about right. But the same thing goes with reviews. I mean, we have customers that, they have items that sell $12,000 a piece. And when they get somebody who clicked on a review and came in and bought, it's very, very significant for them. The ROI is very, very clear, but it's not hard. I mean, it's our average customer pays us $40 a month. They come in, they get set up in 5 minutes, and with both Twitter and Facebook, and integrated in so they can do email marketing and reviews, and they might take a little time to get going, but by and large, after a couple hours of looking at it, they can be off to the races.
Well, $40 is really easy, and any business, even a small business, shouldn't have any trouble using it, especially when you look at the effectiveness. So
yeah,
your price points are good.
Absolutely.
Now, there's one other thing, too, that there's kind of a little bit of a contradiction between email marketing and social networks, and that is the idea of selling. I mean, since email came out over the last decade and a half, a lot of companies use it for really hardcore selling, HTML emails and cross-selling and upselling. But social media really is completely different than that. If you start to sell, you're going to get flamed. So can you see that there's some way that especially the new user can kind of come to some kind of an equilibrium and a balance between interfacing with their customers, participating in social networks, but still have that subtle sell behind the email?
Yeah, I mean, if you believe your customers are a little bit different, the ones that you email and the ones you see in social media. I mean, one of the great techniques is to create a different campaign for each environment. So you might have a much harder sell when you go directly to an email box, and you think about it. Someone's going through the trust of giving you their email address, maybe even more information like their birthday and other things, so you can market to them directly versus somebody who's following you or who likes you. You want to get to that level, but you want to entice them. So you can definitely do different campaigns in those areas. And my feeling is with RatePoint, we're very active in asking for reviews in social networks so we can find out what's working and what's not. And that helps you decide how your segments are different. So if you're actively engaged with them, you can find out what they like and what they don't like, and you can tailor your campaigns in that way.
So wait a minute. You're not actually telling a business to ask their customers, talk to their customers and ask them what they want.
That's the revolution we're in. That's what's happening.
That is exactly what's happening. I mean, way too often they sit in their ivory towers, and when I ask, they say, well, we don't want to talk to our customers. They may say something that's mean. They'll hurt our feelings. No, use social media and use email. Use this two-way communication to find out how to sell them. How do they want to be sold, right? I mean, is that what you find?
You got to talk to your customers. And this is interesting when it comes to the review part of our service. I think things are changing rapidly. A couple years ago, people were not really thinking about reviews. And I just got back from Internet Retailer, and it was a big topic out there. I mean, reviews were huge. And one of the issues people have, and I don't think it's as much today as in the past, but it's like, what if someone says something bad about me? What happens? And well, we found out from our system that 90% of the time someone says something bad about you, if you interact with them, you could turn them around. And you can make them a brand advocate for your business, and they'll love you. And 95% of people who are unhappy go away. But if you can be successful and retain them, it's huge for your business. So extremely powerful. And if they're really angry, and they're going to go talk about you somewhere else. So why not ask for that feedback, get it, and try and improve your business, or turn that customer around and make them a brand advocate for you. So it's extremely powerful. I think businesses are starting to get that.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. Working with a lot of companies, that's their biggest fear is what happens if the conversation goes in the wrong direction. But based on my personal experience, I mean, when the Social Media Bible first came out, people were saying, ooh, ink on dead trees? What are you thinking? Well, let me tell you what I'm thinking. The C-suite, the CEOs, CMOs, CFOs, the vice presidential suites in most companies are over 50. And you know what? We're all comfortable with books. So, but by having that question posed by someone else, that gave me the opportunity to address it, and it completely diffused it. And the rest of the comments on the blog was, hey, this author is right. I got books. I like books. And it completely turned it around. So I love that interactive conversation.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting when we work with thousands of businesses, and when they get reviews, they get both good and bad. And the bad ones are usually highly emotional, and they're very straightforward. I can't stand you guys. I'm not going to go near you with a 10-foot pole. I'm going to tell all my friends. And within 24 hours of interacting with the business, they're like, wow, I didn't understand that. I appreciate the fact you talked to me and solved my problem. And I'm going to go tell my friends that you guys are a good business. It's just really powerful.
It is powerful. And along that line, is there any kind of success stories that you can think of, maybe that you or your customers or somebody have come across using these kinds of tools?
Yeah, I mean, we have many customers and many case stories, and by and large, because it is the number one tool people look at, we have customers that have lifted their sales a tremendous amount. I just, like I mentioned, got back from Internet Retailer, and we were fortunate enough to have one of our customers on stage with us, and it was a company called Go Green Solar, and they lifted their sales 20% by making reviews part of their culture. I mean, every time they sell a product, they ask for a review, and it's just a culture of excellence they have. And the other day, one of their products was featured on the game show, The Price is Right, because they were out there and they saw the reviews and they said, oh, this is a good company. They didn't know Go Green Solar, but they called them up because of those reviews. And so tremendous success story there. But we have a lot of customers like that that use it and love it, and they get big returns out of it.
Well, the part that I like that I just heard also, I mean, besides that incredible success story, is that the way you provide the tools, and correct me if I'm wrong, it actually encourages the customers to give you a review, because I forget all the time, especially about the book and some of the other stuff. I never ask. And if I don't ask, people don't do it. But this encourages it so that you can build that positive side of that conversation.
Yeah, I mean, that's a very good point. I mean, if you're proactive, 25% of the people or so will give you reviews. If you're not, I mean, happy customers generally just go away. They might tell someone around them they had a good experience, but not everyone on the web. So if you're proactive, you get those. And if you're also proactive, you'll get the negative ones before they go to Yelp or somewhere else and post them, because primarily a consumer wants his or her problem resolved. And if you can do it for them, they love you. So the trick is be proactive, and you can use that content if you're a quality business to your favor and amplify your business on the web.
I love that, being proactive. That absolutely sets you guys aside from pretty much everybody else, because they provide the tools, but they don't encourage it, and it's not really core to the system to get that interaction from the customer. So I think you got a real competitive advantage there. If I wanted to put together a campaign similar that we were talking about for a product for my company, and I'm starting fresh, is this really an expensive process? You mentioned the $40 before average, but to get into this, I mean, what can I expect to pay?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty inexpensive process. I mean, we know small businesses don't have a lot of time, and that's our target market. And so we've automated pretty much everything we could. It's pretty turnkey. So from the email marketing system, I mentioned there's hundreds of templates in there that look very professional that you can pick from for every occasion and a bunch of different verticals. We've tailored it. So you don't have to have design skills to really do it. You just need to be able to type. And as far as the reviews go, it's very automated. I mean, we have stuff that kind of hooks up and automatically will send out review requests, or little things you put on your website to request reviews. And we have more sophisticated things for larger retailers. We have full product review suite, but it doesn't take long. I mean, we've had people set up in reviews in a matter of minutes. They'll come through, and we have coaches here. We believe strongly in talking to our customers, and so we have not salespeople, but we call them coaches, and they'll work them through and get them set up. But it's not a big investment, and you look at the return. Like I mentioned, Go Green Solar, to get a 20% return for some time invested in making that part of your culture. I mean, we really want RatePoint to be part of your business. It's part of what you do. It's part of your culture of excellence, and it's part of your ongoing dialogue and participation in your reputation with your customers. So I think it's well worth it. It's not technically difficult. It doesn't require you to hire a designer or anything like that. So it's pretty straightforward, and we're making it more automated and improving it more every day. But right now it's $40 and some of your time.
So you can't go wrong with that. And I love the idea of the templates. For some of the people that are just getting started, that are watching or listening to this interview, correct me if I'm wrong, you have some really awesome, really professionally designed templates. Those are HTML, and I use the HTML word. It's probably going to scare away half of the people listening. But really, you just make it easy with a type of a dashboard where you can just select different sections of this HTML and then just add in your own information. And then when you hit save and that email goes out, it's a professionally designed HTML. I mean, it looks as good as something that you would get from a Fortune 500 company.
Yeah, that's exactly right. You just have to be able to type. And, one of the things that we also do differently is we have the ability to type, but also pull in your reviews or your testimonials from the review platform right into your email marketing campaign. So you can make that front and center when you send these things out. But it looks extraordinarily professional. It's easy to do, and again, you just need to be able to type on a keyboard to get your message across to send these things out.
So all of this is integrated as well.
Yeah, we've crossed it all together. It's one platform. So for $40, you get everything. You get the review stuff, you get the full survey system, you get the email marketing system all together. You might want to use one or the other or all of them. We find customers like to use them all. but it's all part of an integrated platform.
And it's easy to use, and you don't have to be a programmer to know how to use it.
That's right. Designed for small businesses that don't have a lot of time.
I love that. So let me get it straight. You got all the tools. You understand email. You provide templates. You understand social media. You're all about communicating with your customers, which you listen to your customers as well. You've got survey. You've got the automated replies asking people to review your products. It's completely integrated. It runs off just a standard dashboard, so you don't have to know anything other than typing, and you can do it all for about $40 a month.
That's right, and it's product or business. I mean, a lot of small businesses, their service is their product. So it's business reviews and product reviews. You've got that integrated as well. But you're right. That's exactly right. It's all integrated together. Okay,
so when I hear that, then I only have one other question. Where do I sign up?
Well, the name's RatePoint. So you go to ratepoint.com, and a lot of people come in, and we've got this incredibly cool free for life offering that has social media integration and has reviews and surveys, and you can have up to 550 contacts. So that's pretty large for anybody starting in email marketing, especially a small business, and you can use it forever. And if you want to get bigger or you want to do more functions with the reviews, you can pay. But our goal is to introduce as many people as we can to this space and get them going.
Awesome. I completely agree. I just love email, and I really love RatePoint. Is there anything else that you want to share? Anything that you think we might not have covered that will help the beginners?
No, I mean, just to reiterate, I've been speaking in a lot of different places, and I've seen a trend recently, and it's clear that businesses are starting to understand about what's happening out there, this revolution about talking to your customers. But it is the number one sales tool you can use is your own customer. If you can harness the power of your customer, and the great thing about social media, it allows you to do that. If you can do that, you can do incredible things with your business and grow it substantially. So I know I like to be repetitive, but I just wanted to say that point again.
Well, those are important points. I really appreciate that. Grow your business, easy to do, inexpensive. What else could a small, medium business ask for? That's great. Neal, really, thank you. In closing, I'd like to say I really like to thank you, really honestly. I understand how busy your schedule is. Today, we're here with Neal Creighton, the CEO of RatePoint. So thank you for the amazing interview and all that incredible information about email marketing and social media. And this is the first interview that I was able to do where we actually were able to really legitimately put those two words together, email marketing and social media. This has been Lon Safko. I'm the author of the Social Media Bible. Check out our other valuable information at the socialmediabible.com website for additional tools, tactics, strategies, more information about RatePoint, and more information about me. Just hop on over to www.lonsafko.com. And again, Neal, really, it was a real honor speaking with you here today. Thank you very much.
Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.